With the recent news that NIS would be releasing their final physical Vita games, it got me thinking about all the games they've published for Vita. They have been one of the best supporters of the Vita of all the publishers, and while there has been disappointment at them not bringing Metal Max Xeno to the Vita in the West, this doesn't diminish the volume or the quality of the games they've released. They've published over 30 games for the system, and this is my top 10 of their Vita games. Just to note though, before I jump into the top 10, I haven't played every NIS game. I haven't played the Trails of Cold Steel games, for example, which I've heard are very good. So this is my top 10 of the NIS games I've played. Number 10. Criminal Girls 2. Criminal Girls 2 surprised me. Leading up to its launch, the main thing I knew about it was the sexual content being present. I'm not a fan of this kind of content in my games, especially given I do most of my Vita gaming in public on the train. But putting the risque elements aside, there's a deep turn-based RPG with an interesting story and an enjoyable battle system. For fans of turn-based RPGs, this is really a good game. Number 9. Odin Sphere Leaf Thrizer. It may be a surprise to see this so low on my list. It's probably a testament to how many excellent games NIS published that this appears at number 9. Odin Sphere looked amazing and the action gameplay was superb. The game is super long and I found myself getting a bit bored as I played through the level multiple times. But aside from that, and especially for the first 20 hours, I enjoyed Odin Sphere immensely. Number 8. Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I'm a huge fan of Persona 4 Golden and its music. Persona 4 Dancing All Night is a rhythm game with remixed tracks from the main game that I couldn't stop playing. Even after I got the platinum, I continued to play because I just enjoyed it so much. The story wasn't great, but after Persona 4 Golden, I was happy to have another story with the same characters that I knew so well from Golden, which made it a pleasure to play. Number 7. Danganronpa 2. Danganronpa 1 and 2 are games that had me hooked, and kept me on the edge of my seat at all the twists and turns and crazy events. Both games are great, and so unique in their premise of high school students being trapped and needing to murder each other to escape. I personally prefer Danganronpa 1 over 2, which is why it appears higher on my list, but both games should be played and in order. Number 6. Dragon's Crown. Dragon's Crown is a fantasy action game, kind of like a modern version of Golden Axe. You choose one of 6 warriors that all feel different and embark on levels battling monsters, wizards and dragons. The gameplay and graphics are amazing. It's made by Atlas, as is Odin Sphere, but it earns a higher spot for me with its co-op mode that lets you play with other Vita, PS3 and PS4 players, which I found added much more longevity to the game. Number 5. The Longest 5 Minutes. The Longest 5 Minutes was an excellent game. It's an old school RPG that boils down the traditional 30 to 40 hour length to 12 hours by cutting out the filler content to focus on the big story events. The game is a bit too easy, but the story and characters were so charming and enjoyable that the easy gameplay didn't matter much to me. This is a game especially targeted to fans of old school RPGs, who will enjoy the references to games they know and love, while also seeing the common tropes of the genre turned on its head. Number 4. Danganronpa. I wasn't prepared for Danganronpa when I started it. I knew the premise of the game, students trapped in a school and forced to murder each other for their freedom. As I said previously, both this and Danganronpa 2 are excellent visual novels, but this felt more fresh coming first, and the reveals were harder to predict, which is why it's number 4 on my list. Number 3. Gladden Returns. I didn't know much about Gladden Returns when I started playing it. I'd seen a trailer and liked the historical Japanese setting, the pixel graphics and 8-bit soundtrack. But beyond that, I didn't really know what type of game it was. So I was really surprised at how much I ended up loving it. It's a top-down action RPG dungeon explorer that's fun to play but can get super difficult in the later levels. There's so much to do in this game, and even when you finish the main levels, there are bonus levels and a 99-floor roguelike dungeon to explore. It's a shame there wasn't a Western physical release, which explains why not many people have played it, but it's an excellent game if you give it a try. Number 2. Persona 4 Golden. What can I say about Persona 4 Golden that hasn't already been said? It's frequently on the Vita's list of best games, and I've never spoken to anyone that didn't love it. If you don't know what it is, it's an RPG set in a Japanese town where you need to solve a series of murders with your friends. The friendships are what really make the game special. Battling in dungeons was the least interesting part of the game for me. Hanging out with the group of friends and learning more about them was the real draw. It was such a memorable game, and it's easy to see why this is often considered one of the best games on the system. Number 1. NIS 8. NIS 8 only came out last year, and I hadn't expected we would get another handheld AAA quality game along the scope and quality of games like Uncharted or Freedom Wars, but NIS 8 just blew me away. The graphics and gameplay were superb. It's such a big step up from Ys Memories of Celceta. The story was interesting, and exploring this beautiful island full of monsters didn't get old. The action was fast and so easy to get into, but also challenging at times, forcing me to stay on my toes. This isn't just a great game on the Vita, it's a great game full stop. So guys, what are your favourite NIS games on the Vita? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.